It's a pity. Harry never shows any signs of happiness. All the misery he and Meghan have caused is an absolute waste.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel.
So, the truth is, I do feel sorry for Harry in some ways. Obviously, he is a miserable person. See, happy, content people don't say and do the things that we see Harry doing and saying all the time. If you ask me, we need to move past the fact that Harry was born and raised in such privilege. You know the old saying, money cannot buy happiness. Well, I think when we look at Harry, we can see that is absolutely true. Wealth and privilege do make some parts of life a lot easier, but you can't buy happiness. And no matter how much money you have, if you have problems like Harry has, money is not going to make these problems any less difficult to deal with. As Harry keeps on showing us, wealth and privilege do not automatically equate to intelligence or maturity or self-confidence, and certainly not good judgment. Harry's never going to be king. There, I said it. Obviously, that is something that bothers him. I don't know why, though. I mean, why does that fact make him hate his brother so much? Harry is way too fixated on the privileges that William gets because he is the heir, and he also ignores the weight of responsibility that William carries as the heir. Harry also claims the loss of his mother Diana was his personal tragedy. He seems completely oblivious to the fact that William also lost his beloved mother. When Diana was still with us, she loved both of her sons to bit, but she put a lot of pressure on William because she leaned on him for emotional support in a way that simply wasn't appropriate. And she also groomed him to become king, which was appropriate, but he never should have been her personal confidant. And actually, Diana put additional pressure on William when it came to becoming king, because she made her feelings clear that she wanted Charles to be skipped over in favor of William directly becoming king. What an incredibly hard situation for a young boy who loved both of his parents, to have so much responsibility put squarely on his shoulders. But if we look through the lens of Harry's selective memory and his jealousy, it's clear to see that William's problems and his grief are non-existent. Harry has always been every bit as loved as William, and the truth is, Harry's experience growing up, well, he had a lot more freedom than William had. I mean, just think of all the pressure William is under. He's got the expectations of the world to deal with. He's got his late mother's expectations. He's got the future of the monarchy in his hands. And he also has a family, a wife, and 3 beautiful children who have to navigate very public lives. And one of them is going to be crowned someday, and William has to prepare him for that eventuality. Harry, on the other hand, has it pretty easy when we compare his life to William's. Harry has always been guaranteed a senior position and a very privileged lifestyle within the royal family, with a lot more freedom for any indiscretions than William would ever have, and he didn't have to worry about preparing his family for the huge responsibilities of being the future sovereign. It is such a shame that Harry couldn't appreciate the situation he was born into. And I guess by marrying an actress, he thought that he was going to one-up William. He thought that Meghan was going to be somebody who could hold her own with the beautiful Catherine, and maybe even be better than Catherine. Harry has even bragged that William and Catherine were such great fans that he was worried they would be bothering Meghan for autographs. And in the beginning, it seemed like he thought that Meghan's differences from the royals were cute and charming. But clearly, he had no idea what he was getting himself into, and he didn't realize what this American celebrity wife was going to end up costing him. From the very beginning, way before Harry even knew the game he had begun, Meghan was in complete control. From the beginning, Meghan Markle wanted to be the antithesis of William and Catherine. She wanted to be the antagonist. Harry was and still is just a pawn in her little games. The problems began before the wedding, but Harry didn't want to see them. He had finally found a woman who seemed willing to marry him. It seemed like she wasn't scared about what it would mean to marry into royal life. She idolized his late mother as much as he does, and she knew exactly how to lure him in, and he wanted to keep her. In spite of the royal PR's protective filters, right after the wedding and a little short honeymoon period of public affection, the cracks began to show. Harry's bride started to show her true character as the volatile, insane person, foolishly believing that she was popular enough to sweep the board and have things change to suit her. And of course, there were problems with her little plan. Meghan couldn't go head-to-head with Catherine as she thought she could. Catherine is a lot stronger than she seems to be, and unlike Meghan, she was expected to weather the tabloid garbage and the global press intrusion on her own during the many years that she and William were dating before they got married. She put up with the endless public speculation. She put up the insults about her and her own family. She put up with the mean nicknames from within and without the institution, and the intrusion into every area of her life, her history, and her family. She had to put up with the jealous remarks on being middle class and weighty Katie. She didn't have any protection, and she had the whole world watching. But she proved that she could take it. Catherine is incredibly strong. She's gracious, she's cultivated, and she earned her place in the royal family. She's also deeply in love with William. She was willing to wait to earn respect, and she was patient the whole time. William clearly made a very good decision when he decided to trust her, and she has more than justified his faith in her. Meghan supposedly was a trained actress, but she showed herself to be unprepared and unwilling to handle the negative aspects of marrying into the royal family. Unlike William, Harry didn't allow Meghan to figure out things on her own like Catherine did. Instead, he tried to protect her. He lashed out at anybody who said anything about her. He played right into Meghan's hands. From the minute she appeared in their lives, Meghan made it obvious that she expected everybody else to adapt to her. It was not going to be the other way around. She never showed any respect for protocol, tradition, and hierarchy didn't mean anything to her. She immediately acted as though she was the highest on the totem pole. She was demanding, she was mean, she was short-tempered, and she always wanted attention for herself. She neither respected nor worked to earn respect from other people. She just demanded it because she believed she was entitled to it. And if she couldn't get her way, well, she was just going to cry racism. And Harry would lash out at everybody for not protecting his beautiful wife. Meghan was not going to put up with being compared unfavorably to Catherine, and she wouldn't accept the guidance and advice given on how to act in the royal family. She showed basically no interest in the duties and obligations that came along with those new titles. She couldn't even pass a citizenship exam to become a citizen of the UK because she didn't want to bother with studying. And since she could never be Catherine at being royal, and she doesn't believe in service unless she's being paid for it, she decided she was going to do everything she could to distinguish herself from the entire royal family by being the exact opposite. As much as anything, though, Meghan is fake. Everything surrounding her is made-up drama. Even pregnancy and childbirth has to go against tradition and be cloaked in mystery. And Harry keeps on playing right along with Meghan. Both of them are doing everything they can to upset the British royals and the people who support them. When Meghan's popularity started to plummet, that's when she started to play the victim. Aside from talking about how everybody, especially the royals and the British media, are all racist. And when she wasn't getting enough attention, she claimed to be hiding from the wolves because they were constantly chasing her. First, she left for Canada, and Harry had to deal with the family's outrage and shock. And then they claimed they were too compromised in Canada, and the only safe place in the world for them to go to would be Hollywood. And that's when the show really started. Then we got to see Harry and Meghan driving around like a couple of lunatics acting paranoid, as Meghan was pointing out all the invisible paparazzi following behind them. I think there was like one guy on a motorbike or something. And it seems like Harry never sees them. Well, for that matter, nobody else can, but he continues to play his part. He looks miserable. He watches helplessly as Meghan throws herself on the floor in floods of tears. But then, miraculously, when it's time for her to accept a made-up award that she had to pay money for, she picks herself up and she dusts herself off, and there she goes up on the stage to deliver a word salad speech. And Harry's right there with her like a loyal puppy dog, just following behind, looking pissed off. Ever since, Harry has been in a free fall. He has been cut off from everything he ever knew, his family, the protection of his family and home country. Harry is absolutely lost. I mean, just look at what he has become. He's trading off his connection to the family he claims to despise. He's exploiting his dead mother for money. He's doing televised therapy sessions and these explosive interviews. He's writing very detailed books about stuff that is none of his business. He is ruining people's lives, or at least trying to. And he's just selling his soul to try to satisfy Meghan's never-ending demands for money, fame, and status. But Meghan is never going to be satisfied, and Harry just looks more and more like an idiot, a lonely, angry idiot for that matter. He is a perfect example of being whipped by a domineering wife, and all he can really do is try to make himself feel stronger by attacking his family and filing these meaningless lawsuits. Harry never has a happy look on his face. He never seems interested in his children if they're real. And Meghan doesn't have his best interests at heart. I mean, come on. She wants to make a fool out of him. Just think about the way that she dodged his kiss on the kiss cam that time. Harry has pushed away everybody who ever cared about him. He has betrayed and invaded everybody too. And now he's left with a narcissist who wants to be his deceased mother and who cares so little for him, shows such disdain for him really, that after successfully separating him from his former world, she can't even be bothered to give him a kiss in front of the kiss cam to make it look like the two of them are truly in love. She's only going to show affection when she's being paid for it. But this is the life that Harry chose. Now, if he ever showed any sign of contentment, it would be a real shame to see him separate from his family, but at least we could say he's happy, so fine. But sadly, he never shows any signs of happiness whatsoever. So all the misery that he and Meghan live in is an absolute waste, and it really is a tragedy. And you, do you agree with this view? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. Don't be afraid to like and share this video with anybody else who would enjoy it anytime you want.
And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.